Namaste everyone. This is M. Srinivasu, English faculty from DAV High School, RTB Township. At first, I heartily welcome you all for the ninth reading comprehension interaction from A reading. Attitude is attitude from the unit called Personality Development from class 10th English. At first, I would like to read the lines before we get into the interaction part of it. Nick, who was teased and bullied, had an electric wheelchair for mobility and a team of carers to help him. I was deeply depressed when I was 8 years old, he said. I went to my mom crying and told her I wanted to kill myself. I felt cold and bitter. I hated God for doing this to me and was terrified of what would happen when my parents weren't there to look after me. Here, we need to understand having had a great trust on oneself is very, very important. But here, at the age of 8, Nick seems that he lost hope of his life. That we try to understand in the lines one by one. Nick, who was teased. I think we know very well Nick which is a motivational speaker, and his biographical sketch that we are now looking into in the unit called Attitude is Attitude. Now, let us see Nick, who was teased. Who or what, which, that are all, or we are calling them as relative pronouns. As we are going to have another grammar set next, then we will get more clarity regarding this. These are generally who is representing for a person and which is representing a thing. That generally when we are using to refer something in particular, when you are combining two sets of sentences like this or a phrase like this. Nick, who was teased. Teased, we have already seen that the people in the school and colleges were teasing him for his abnormal physical appearance and abnormal birth and so on. So he was completely teased in the schools and colleges and bullied. We have seen in the previous session what is called bullied. Bullied is nothing but called and showing threats and discouraging someone. Discouraging someone by showing threats in their future that they may get, or they scare them, showing there is something wrong going to happen. This is nothing but called bullying. So Nick was teased and bullied. Was teased. Was teased. Now it is in the passive construction of the sentence. That means he was teased by someone else, or it is known to all of us like schoolmates and college mates. So it is a subject becomes object in the passive voice. That is not mentioned here as in the conditions like when the subject is not known, when the subject is known to all, when subject requires or it don't want to get its intimation. So that's the third one. Anyhow, coming to this point, Nick, who was teased and bullied. What he had? He had an electric wheelchair for mobility. Mobility means movement. For movement. We know very well he had very little limb that is attached to his left hip, and even more that is a small piece of leg that he is calling it as a chicken drumstick. Nowhere it helped him to have a comfortable walk. So his mobility is really a problem. So that is how he was provided an electric wheelchair. Electric wheelchair. Wheelchairs we identify in the hospitals where the patient is asked to sit or made sit in the particular chair, and some attendant like a nurse or a family member, they will be helping the person to move from one place to another place or one room to another room. Here, it's an electric wheelchair. Electric means it is a charged one, like with the help of electricity, there will be battery and it is get charged. So that what else he could operate the movement of the wheelchair and the way, the direction, and even more the speed also he could able to control. So there is such kind of a electric wheelchair where he could generally sit on and make his movement. Nowadays we identify there are many kinds of automobiles developing into electrical charging categories, like scooters they get electric charged so that they can run, even cars also. In such a way, this is an electric wheelchair, it gets charged by electricity so that it will be helpful to Nick there to move from one place to another place. Now, for mobility, as we already discussed for movement. So, for movement, Nick has an electric wheelchair. Now, coming to this. And a team of carers to help him. Carers, nothing but called persons who take care of someone. For example, for a patient, nurse is a carer, or an attendant who is at home looking after a sick person is a carer. Mother is a carer to the baby and father is a carer for the family. Something like that. If you can see, a team of carers, not just one person, some members. For example, some members will be helping him at the home. Some members will be helping him for going to school or college, or at the school or college also there will be some people allotted to help him to get down or get up on the steps, something like that. So this is that a team of carers, not only just he had an electric wheelchair, he also had a team of carers to help him in the routine, regular, generally for moving from going to the college or getting down, or some other thing like important thing like many things that we can mention. For at this point we think only movement here and there are some personal needs, even dressing and so on also will be helped by this team of carers. Even going for crop or maybe getting shaving or other things are helped by these particular team of carers. So he was provided an electric wheelchair for mobility and team of carers to look after him. Initially from the beginning of his childhood by his parents. Now coming to the second one. I was deeply depressed when I was 8 years old. So when he was 8 years old, he said he was deeply depressed. Depressed means lose hope. Everyone on the earth is optimistic. They had some desire and need and some drives to fulfill their needs in the future. So that with that focus, like maybe temporary goals or maybe permanent goals, they'll keep moving because they have some hope in their life. But depressed is nothing but called losing hope on your one's own existence, and you see nothing in the future that will be more happier to you or attractive to you or make benefit to you. So such occasions and such situations, people completely they undergo in depression. Depression is nothing but called losing one's hope of their life. They would see no brightness, no colors in the future, and they think that their life on the earth mere waste and it will be not at all useful for them or for the others also. So that is why they feel they are undergoing depressed. So he was said that I was deeply depressed. It is not just a normal kind of depression for a day or two and go, but he was completely very depressed, very deeply depressed. So too much depressed. So you can say the percentage that he was undergone in depression, losing his complete hope of his existence and the future life was really very great. So that's what they say. So I was deeply depressed. This is the direct quotes of Nick Vujicic. That's why we get a subject I with a single quote starting with. Okay. When he was just 8 years old. 8 years old is just like, third class boys or third class girls age, that is. So by the time they will be taking more serious about the comments of their friends and the deeds of their friends rather the future and goals of the future. So naturally it may be the time where they give importance for their friends' comments, and he thought that there will be no life for him in the future that is brighter to him. So he was completely deeply depressed. And what else? I went to my mom crying and told her I wanted to kill myself. So what did he say? Mom, he went to his mom. He rushed to his mom. Generally that is an age. Children generally they share things to their parents. So this is the time. So he went there to his mother. He was completely crying. And in his cry he said to his mother, Mom, I was completely depressed. And my friends are bullying me, teasing me, and I have no further hopes of my life. And I thought of killing myself. But he said that I wanted to kill myself, nothing but thought. I wanted to commit suicide. So let my life end by me. So I don't want to have any hopes of my life. Leading a life like a task in the society is really a big task. And the people, they always see the minus points and mistakes or drawbacks of the others rather finding out themselves. So this is that maybe the more impact. So he was finally decided to commit suicide and end his life. And let us see the last one more bit. I felt cold and bitter. I hated God for doing this. Now let's see. I felt cold and bitter. So we have already know. So this is Nick Vujicic directly sharing his experience. So I felt. So that means Nick felt cold and bitter. So this let us just have a look at this particular cold. Cold is not about the weather conditions. It is about the feelings. Generally, we have warm feelings and even cold feelings. For example, you might know about love, affection. These are all our warm feelings. Rather, when we talk about egoistic, jealousy, and these are all we call as cold feelings. He felt very cold. That means, he was felt. He was observed from the others that they are feeling very, downcast about his life existence. Or you may say that his life is need waste when we commented. So he received some cold feelings like a hatredness, like jealousy of his life, that maybe he had no further life on the earth, something like that. Then what else? Bitter. Bitter is nothing but a part of generally experiences. We attain this one, bitter to the experiences. We say generally we have some bitter experiences. For example, you see, if there is a Nick there and maybe senior or maybe classmate, they will look at him and say, what happened? You have no arms and no legs, nothing. What happened to you? They may keep asking him. So in this point, he had a countless bitter experiences that he was undergone with. So he felt very cold, and he was also experienced a lot of bitter experiences that made it pinch his heart, and that is how he could not able to lead a common life, normal life, and he underwent in a deep depression. And finally what? Whenever we identify that something went wrong with us and we ultimately try to find the answer from the Almighty. Here the same, but whenever he had a doubt that why did the God created him on earth like a torso, and that minute maybe he felt very bad about his physical condition, and he took very seriously about the comments of the others, and ultimately he was in a isolation, that he hated God for doing this. So what is this that he is talking about? God is the only omnipotent, omnipresent, and almighty, ever merciful. He is only the person reasonable and given birth on to the earth for any creature, like a plant to insect, human being to any kind of a biggest animal on the earth. So, however, everything is created by the God. It is a belief of all the religions. May each religion have different kinds of sects that they believe, but ultimately it is only Almighty. Maybe it is said to be only one God for all. So this particular one, according to Nick Vujicic, he hated God for doing this. What he says, he hated God for making him take birth like a torso. So this is. And I was terrified, get very great afraid. So get afraid of, terrified me, get afraid of. Why did he get afraid? He was terrified of what would happen when my parents weren't there to look after me. So what did he say is, he had very great fear. Oh my God, when I was born as a torso, that's fine. My parents are there to look after me. My parents had arranged a team of carers to help me, and an electric wheelchair for mobility, and they take a lot of care. And my dad put me in the water and make me how to swim, and he even taught me how to type on keyboard, and he had been kept training me. My mother had invented a plastic device, and she helped me how to hold pen or pencil, and my parents were taking a lot of care. And if my parents weren't there, if they are not there to look after me, what would happen to me? Whenever he thought of that particular one, he was very terrified of his condition of his life when his parents are not coming forward to look after. So my parents weren't there to look after meaning is to take care of. To take care of. So, if his parents weren't there, what would happen and who would take care of me is the biggest question was haunted in his mind, and that made him terrified a lot. So, let us just once again brush up. Here, let us go for feedback of this today topic once. In the first session, first lines we have seen, he was sharing about he had a lot of bullying and teasing in his schools and colleges, and he was provided an electric wheelchair for mobility. And a team of carers are also there to help him in the home and in the college and school as well. Now next one, what else? He was sharing an important concept that he was deeply depressed when he was 8 years old, and he went to his mom crying and shared her that he wanted to kill himself. So the thoughts of making himself committing suicide was started at the age of 8. That is very important one. And then the last one, let us see the last lines. Whenever he was completely depressed, he was in such a mood that he was completely hated God for making him take birth as a torso, and even he was shown his helplessness in the form of saying that if his parents weren't there, who would look after me? So this point will give us such a sign that there is no hope for him to lead his life when his parents' support was not there. So this is today's lines then, and further in the next upcoming reading comprehension session we will discuss, and we will get more clarity. At the last, I would like to request you, my dear students, you read the reading comprehension, this particular lines more thoroughly, and you please practice 2 pages of your cursive handwriting to make your handwriting more elegant and fantastic. Have a good day, children, and we'll meet in the next session. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.